Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Today we're going to talk about catastrophic disclosure. We hear that a lot. It's a term that we've heard many times over the last few years. And does it mean anything? Is it real? Is there such thing as controlled disclosure and catastrophic disclosure? Does it really matter in the long run? I don't think so. I don't think it really matters because like people who talk about they're concerned about catastrophic disclosure. They say that, well, if the government doesn't come clean, then it's going to come out in a different way, and that's going to be catastrophic. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm not sure if it matters which way it comes out. Say you have this slow disclosure. It could be argued what's happening right now with these hearings and this battle between this Pentagon that doesn't want to tell the truth, apparently, and people who say that there are reverse engineering and crash retrieval programs and that there is a cover-up of this reality. There's a battle going on right in front of us. Is that perhaps all staged? You have to ask yourself questions like this, because I do. I don't understand. I don't really know. Only the people the people who are part of that know one way or the other. It might not be true. I'm just saying that's a possibility. And the controlled disclosure is this battle going on right in front of us. There's bad guys and good guys depending on what side you're on, right? And there's one side is saying that there's a cover up and that this is real, and the other side saying no, there is no cover up. And that this is all nonsense. And in fact, the other side will actually say that these people who believe that there's a cover-up of alien technology and reverse engineering programs and crash retrieval programs, that those people are in a cult. So you have to wonder, is that all of that? Is all of this theater for us being presented to us by people who've been in control of this topic for all these decades? Is this their way of just a controlled disclosure? Maybe, right? Maybe. Or is it that there are some people that really are from the government, that were in the government, like David Grush, for example, and he's pushing for disclosure. He's saying that there's a cover-up and that there are reverse engineering programs, alien biologics, and all that kind of thing. And there really are other people from on the gatekeeper side that are really are hostile to this. They don't like it, and they really are trying to prevent disclosure from happening. It could be argued either way, actually. I actually think it's the latter, what I just described. I think there are two factions, and one is trying to get the truth out, and the other one doesn't want anything to do with it. And then we hear this phrase, catastrophic disclosure, crop up over the last couple of years. And I think that's like, people who want disclosures putting out a warning to the government saying, hey, if you don't do something, we're going to have catastrophic disclosure, and you're not going to like that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's actually, if that's the case, right, if that is the case, then it's too late. It's already over. The information is already out there. Then we're already in the midst of catastrophic disclosure, and nobody really understands that yet. Nobody knows it yet. Some people do. There are some people out there. If this is what catastrophic disclosure, if that's what the definition of catastrophic disclosure, that the truth is not presented by the government that's been covering this up for all these years, right? If that's the truth, right? That the catastrophic disclosure is coming from other people, right? Then it's already over, because it's already out there, as we all know. I don't even need to talk about it. We already know it's already done. It's a done deal. Catastrophic disclosure, we're in the midst of it right now. This is the dawning of the age of catastrophic disclosure. If that's the case, it's already a done deal. However, I came across a new scientific paper, and I want to talk about that with regard to catastrophic disclosure. It's very interesting. And this was written by Matthew Szydagis, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Matthew. Matthew Szydagis, he's associate professor at the Department of Physics at the University at Albany, and he's also a member of SCU, the Scientific Coalition of UAP Studies. And in October, last month, he published this paper, and we're going to talk about it. It's about catastrophic disclosure, and the title here is "How Much Time Do We Have Before Catastrophic Disclosure?" And this was the opening. I'm going to read this opening introduction to the paper. This is what he writes. It says, "Claims of the retrieval of crashed craft and vehicles from non-human intelligences, or NHI, abound in popular culture and the media. For this article, we utilize the number of such claims to estimate the number of years expected before the occurrence of a catastrophic disclosure, a term which was defined at the 2023 Saul Foundation's inaugural conference as the accidental disclosure of conclusive evidence of the existence of NHI outside of the control of human institutions such as governments and militaries. Here, we will consider one possible example of this as the crash of a piloted spacecraft or an ET probe in the middle of a busy metropolis. The distribution of humans on Earth's surface, the population as a function of time, and the fraction of individuals owning smartphones, also versus time, are each taken into account as foundations for a rigorous statistical analysis. The author adopts a skeptical approach and doesn't claim NHI or ET are real, but uses their analysis as an educational example of critical thinking and application of standard statistical distributions to an issue which captures the imagination of the public like almost no other issue, making the extraordinary assumptions that sentient species other than humans exists, are capable of constructing vehicles for transportation, and are sufficiently fallible that their technology can malfunction. It is possible to quantify potential answers to the question of how long it will be before smartphone imagery or video proofs appear on the internet and become irrevocable through classification in the modern era. Obviously, Matthew is not unaware of the Las Vegas alien case, because it's a done deal, Matthew. It's a done deal. We already have that. It's already out there. It's already floating around. That proof is already out there. And the government continues to deny it, right? But that doesn't matter because we already have the evidence that shows there's no question about it, an NHI presence on Earth. Anyway, the results of simulations of numerous different potential scenarios of varying degrees of pessimism and / optimism indicate that if NHI ETs are real, catastrophic disclosure may actually happen accidentally rather soon, with the mean expected year being 2040 plus or minus 20 under the default assumptions. And that was just an introduction to his paper. And we'll flip over to we're going to just go through some of the sections of the main paper and talk about it. But like I've pointed out here, it's if this is the case, he's talking that that it's going to happen. I mean, the overall the overall conclusion of this paper is that catastrophic disclosure will happen at some point. It's 100% guaranteed. At some point, it will happen if NHI/ETs are real. And I know for a fact that NHI/ETs are real for various reasons, right? I know that for a fact. So that means it's going to happen. So now this is he did this very skeptically, and that's great. He's not trying to debunk anything here. He's just presenting math, figures, calculations on if catastrophic disclosure is going to happen if the government doesn't come clean. Anyway, I'm going to skip through a little bit of this paper. We're going to go to this to the bottom of page 2. It says, at the Saul Foundation Symposium organized by Professor Gary Nolan of Stanford University and held on November 17th through the 18th, 2023, some speakers used the phrase catastrophic disclosure to describe this case, where the military-industrial complex is not the player driving disclosure, but scientists, engineers, and researchers, citizen scientists, and or even ordinary citizens, with the unspoken postulate being that human governments know a great deal more than they are disclosing to date. Many of the Saul speakers suggested that in such a scenario, the impacts upon society, on politics, religion, etc., of disclosure of the existence of NHI would be more catastrophic if compared to a slow, controlled, and planned version of it. This article will present a skeptical but not debunking analysis, one that should allow readers, including relevant politicians and lawmakers, to estimate when catastrophic disclosure could transpire on its own, but also allow them to disprove the most extreme claims of high crash rates, especially as time goes on without disclosure transpiring. Again, it's a done deal. We already have that evidence, that end-all absolute proof, as I like to call it recently, as I referred to it in that little video I made a few days ago. We have absolute proof. It's already out there in the mainstream. It's just a matter of getting it out there to more people. I mean, it's unfortunate. That's just the way things are right now. I just want to point out this too. Recently, I was told by more than one person that they were having trouble finding my YouTube channel all of a sudden this past week. And so I guess I'm shadow banned because if you do search on for my channel, it's for the YouTube channels specifically. It doesn't seem to pop up readily. The Spotify one does, but not the YouTube channel. And so I have to wonder if maybe the people who are claiming that I am shadow banned, because the one guy actually stated that he could not find my channel for anything, and the only way he was able to find it was to go into the history of what he had watched over the past month or so, and then that's how he got to my channel again. So you have to wonder, am I hitting a nerve? Perhaps. And you know what? This is totally expected. And here's another thing: I don't even care. I don't care. I don't care if that is true, right? I don't know if it is or not. I'm just saying what some people have told me, including one of my family members noticed this. So if that's true, well, then obviously I must be completely correct in everything I'm saying. So that's where we're at. See, we're already, if catastrophic disclosure is just regular people out there presenting the evidence to the world, right? Well, then it's already here. It's started. That process has started. And as we already know, based on yesterday's podcast, the federal government, the Pentagon, is not interested whatsoever in telling the truth about this, at least not yet. And that's why I think the way we're going to get this truth, perhaps, is to bring this to the attention of people our elected officials, people in the House, for instance. There's a lot of people in some of them committees, the House Intelligence Committee, for instance, that might be interested in this story. And then when the information and the data is presented under oath, right, by certain different people, like perhaps maybe Scott Roeder, and then you could question the Pentagon about this. Maybe Arrow could be brought in and see what they have to say. If anything, maybe we'll finally get an acknowledgement then. But if here's the thing: I'm not even sure if catastrophic disclosure is something to be concerned about. I just don't know if it is. I mean, because no matter which way you cut it, right? Like, say it's a slow process. Like, say we're going through this slow process where UFOs, since 2017 now, it's constantly in the news. Before that, it wasn't constantly in the news. Maybe some local newspapers when people had UFO sightings, right, and things like that. But it just wasn't in the New York Times or all over the internet. It's all over the internet these days. We're having hearings about it. They're talking about it in Senate hearings and House hearings. So it's all over the place right now. Is this slow? Is this the slow disclosure? This is a slow disclosure process, constantly keeping it in people's heads. Hey, UFOs, even if they're not paying that much attention to it. Is this slow disclosure? And we're just a lot of us in the UFO community are just didn't understand what was happening. Or is this not slow disclosure, and they're just some people who got fed up with it and decided, hey, the world needs to know the truth, and we need to start talking about this and testifying about this in Congress. I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, but it doesn't matter at this point. It's already over. It's already over. The evidence is already there. It's already there. So if here's the thing, I don't think it matters though. And that's the point I want to make. I do not think it matters. I just don't see how it matters. I mean, think about it. Okay, if you have a slow disclosure, at some point you're going to have to hit that. You're going to have to cross that red line, like Richard Dolan likes to talk about, the red line, right? They're going to have to cross the red line and admit it. Okay, and then that's it. That's okay. Everyone, aliens are real, right? Or if it happens some other way, say there's another Phoenix Lights incident, but now there's 1,000 people with smartphones filming it. That's another way, right? That's another way it could happen. But it's a done deal. They're here, and the evidence is there, and there's nothing anybody can do to make that go away now. It's already out there. So I don't think it matters. I don't believe. Actually, let me just say this. I don't believe catastrophic disclosure. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. I think disclosure is disclosure, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. Despite what some people in the UFO community will tell you, like at the Saul Foundation, I don't agree with those people. Disclosure is disclosure, as far as anyone should be concerned. Doesn't make me right. That's just my opinion. Anyway. I wanted to read a little bit more from this. I want to go to the conclusions, discussion and conclusion. It says here toward the end. Now, I'm not reading a lot of this. A lot of this is highbrow stuff. I'll leave the links here for you so that you can check it out for yourself. But I just wanted to, give you the general conclusions here about what this guy's saying here. It says here, if NHI are real, then the correct question to ask is not if disclosure can be forced, but when. And then he talks about one of his figures in there. Figure 2 right shows the probability always asymptoting to 100% eventually. When inputting the defaults, the chances are 14 to 42% by 2027 and 39 to 59% by 2036. But the thing about it is, all the numbers, catastrophic disclosure, if it is a thing, right, if that's something to be concerned about, if that's how this is going to go down, it's going to happen at some point, no matter what. No matter what, either there's a 14 to 42% chance by 2027 and a 39 to 59% chance by 2036, and the higher the year you go up, it eventually, it's going to be 100. It's 100%. I mean, eventually it's going to happen. That's the basic gist of this paper. It's going to happen at some point, if it's real. And guess what? It is real. A lot of us have known it was real for a long time, and we've been talking about this for a long time, about the reality of the situation. I've talked, basically for 3 years straight about the reality of this situation, and that I also made it clear to a lot of the skeptics and debunkers out there that if this was a game of poker, the best that they had in their hand was like a 7 high. Right, that was about it, and I was holding a royal flush because I knew in the end, right, that there was absolutely no way that they're going to win this debate in the end, like, because I know for a fact. I had my own experiences. So when you have your own experiences, you know for a fact, right? You know that you're holding a royal flush, and eventually you're going to be proven right, and eventually those people are going to find out that they're wrong and they had nothing. They were holding nothing in their hand, and that's what happened, because then we did end up getting that evidence, the absolute proof that we were all waiting for, right? That a lot of people, and even some in the UFO community, won't even talk about. And I wonder too sometimes if some of those people understand what the situation is here. That it is disclosure. If catastrophic disclosure is a thing, then the Vegas alien incident, guess what? That falls into that category. Then we're already in the midst of catastrophic disclosure. It's been going on for 7 months now. Actually longer than that if you want to go all the way back to when it happened initially. But it wasn't until April when Roeder, the expert, the video analysis expert, the crime scene reconstruction expert, presented his findings on that, right? So for 7 months now, at least, that this information has been floating out there in the internet. So if catastrophic disclosure is a concern, well, guess what? It's already too late, because we're in the midst of that. And as you've seen over the past weeks here, the government has no intentions of ever admitting to this truth. They might have to at some point now because of this, right? Because we're going to continue pushing this. This is going to become a bigger and bigger thing as time goes on. It's not going to go away. It's just not going to go just crawl back into a hole somewhere. I mean, you have the absolute proof of an extraterrestrial / NHI presence on Earth. You think it's just going to go away? No, it's going to. More and more people are going to find out about it, and there's going to be people out there who are going to continue pushing it, like me. So we're already at that point, but I don't think it matters. Again, I don't believe in catastrophic disclosure. I believe in disclosure. That's all I believe in. I want to know more from the government. All of us should. All of us should want to know something more from the government about what they know about this. But it doesn't seem like they're going to do that, as we were talking about in the previous podcast. It doesn't seem like they're interested in that. Like Richard Dolan said in his recent show last week, he said that he just doesn't see it happening. He sees the best that we're going to get from them is an acknowledgement. And that might be the best we're going to get from them is an acknowledgement. I just want to make it clear. I don't really believe in catastrophic disclosure. I don't think it should be a concern, right? But the problem is, if it is real and it is something, well, we're already in the midst of it, because that evidence is already there. It's already out there. And anybody who sits down and absorbs it, like I've been stating for months now, they're going to walk away knowing that something really did happen in Vegas that involved non-human intelligent creatures. There's just no question about it. And it doesn't matter what some internet rando who was a name like 1 million or something, whatever. Doesn't matter what that person says. We have it from the experts themselves. There's no other experts have stepped up to the plate. Mick West turned down $5,000 to do an analysis of it, because he knows he can't do an analysis of it, because he knows it's catastrophic disclosure in his mind. He knows it's over. His whole grift is up. It's done. This whole there's nothing to this alien business is all over. Right? All of these people know it. So it's already over. And if, like I stated, if it's true that my channel, at least my YouTube channel, that's what some people have been telling me. If I've been shadow banned because of this, so be it. I don't even care. I'm actually happy for it. It proves my point again, over and over again, right? No one to this point has stepped forward, and no one has been able to debunk this at all, not even close. And they can't, and they never will. And the government and they've been aware of this since June 11th when I sent that email to the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense. They never responded. What are they going to say? I actually, just recently that little video I made about absolute proof, I actually tagged Arrow on it on X. Nothing. So that's where we are, folks. If catastrophic disclosure is a thing, we're already on that path. It's too late. It's too late. Everyone's going to find out because it's already out there. It's just a matter of time until it absorbs into the human psyche. And it will. Anyway, moving on, I want to do a quick update on the most recent Spotify polls. Okay, we're gonna start with one we already touched on before, but for the episode, new Arrow director John T. Kozlowski testifies to Senate committee about UFOs. We're up to 42 votes now, and I asked this question: will Arrow, under the leadership of its new director John Kozlowski, ever prove instrumental in revealing the truth about the alien presence? 42 votes, 9 people or 21.4% say yes, and 33 people or 78.6% say no. I agree with the no's. Of course, we're never going to get anywhere. We'll never get anywhere with Arrow because Arrow is only an arm of the Pentagon, and the Pentagon is uninterested in telling the truth on this. They just feel like they cannot for whatever reason. All right, for the episode Arrow is not helping, I asked this question: has Arrow overstayed its welcome? 21 votes so far. 3 people or 14.3% say no, while 18 people or 85.7% say yes. I agree with the majority here again because we're never going to get anywhere with Arrow, I'm afraid to say. We're just not. I just can't see it. I love to be proven wrong. I'm honest to God, I would love to be wrong about that. But unfortunately, I don't think I am wrong because, again, they're just an extension of the Pentagon. The Pentagon's obviously not interested in this. And they don't want to, because there's a lot of different issues that you're looking at here with disclosing the truth. Because if you did that, then people already have a mistrust of government, and then when you do this, you tell them the truth. Finally, they're going to say, "Look, you were lying to us all these years. How can we trust you?" See, that's the problem. That's one of the problems that they're facing. Of course, there could be other issues in there as well, including, what they learned via reverse engineering the stuff. They can't talk about that, but I think that's understandable. But it's some of the other concerns. That's what they're worried about. They're worried about things like people are going to just not trust us. Well, the problem is when you tell the truth finally, you explain the reasons how it started. Like I've talked about this before. This should not be an issue actually, because the people who started this cover up, they're all gone. They're dead. So anybody who's involved in it now, they were brought into it later on. So you can't hold them completely accountable for this. They were brought into something that existed for a long time, and the people who started this are dead. So I think that's one of the arguments you could have, and you could understand, and you could explain reasons why you were keeping it quiet. And I'm sure you have some good ones. So I think people will understand, and I think it makes sense. I get it, but at this point here, it's ridiculous to continue that there's nothing to this, like this, to pretend that you don't know anything. It's very frustrating. That it's an insult to intelligence. All right, for the most recent episode, now this is only from yesterday, so there's not a lot of votes yet. For the episode Dolan, the Pentagon likely will never voluntarily reveal the truth about UFOs and ETs. I asked this question: will the Pentagon ever voluntarily disclose the truth about the UFO and extraterrestrial /NHI phenomenon? 0 people say yes, while 17 people or 100% say no. That's rare. That's rare. Now, of course, that's an early. I'm looking at this poll early, but usually somebody would have. There's always a joker there, but no jokers yet. I'm sure I'll get a couple after this show, but no jokers as of right now. And obviously, I totally agree with the majority. No, They're never going to voluntarily disclose the truth about it. They're going to have to be backed up against the wall. And I tell you, the way you back them up against the wall is you hold a hearing on the Vegas alien evidence. You present that evidence, and then you bring it after that's out there. Give the public a week or so to absorb it, right? Give the press some time to talk about it and understand it, right? And then you have somebody come in from the Pentagon and you have asked them questions and see if they could provide any explanations. And if they provide any, and here's the thing, they will not be able to provide an explanation that debunks it. They just won't be able to do it, folks. It's impossible, right? It's impossible. It cannot be debunked. Right, so that would be the acknowledgement. That would be the way to finally have the government acknowledge the reality of this presence on this planet by doing something like that, because it proves it. It proves it, like I've been saying here for months, and it's not gonna go away. It's out there, and it's more and more people are just gonna find out about it as time goes on. Anyway, so in summation, I don't believe in catastrophic disclosure. Disclosure is disclosure. One way or the other, it doesn't matter. There's going to be a reaction no matter which way you do it, whether you drag it out for years and years and years, or whether you tell them all of a sudden instantly by just tearing the Band-Aid off. As far as anyone should be concerned, though, the Band-Aid has been torn off. It's already torn off. You could see the wound. It's already there. It's exposed for the world to see. So it's already over, folks. We already reached disclosure. It's done. It's a done deal. Just a matter of time before more people find out about it. Anyway, I want to say this. I want to say thank you all for joining me today. Until next time.